What's up, you guys? It's Brandon and Todd from Hey Grill Hey, and today we've got a special treat for you. We have the brand new G2 from Old Country Smokers. Now, we've used this in a video before. If you haven't seen it yet, that rib comp video we posted a few weeks ago, you should go check it out. But today, we're gonna take you through this thing. We're gonna show you the ins and outs, the ups and downs, and we might even, who knows, cook something on it later?
Probably.
You'll have to stick around and find out. Let's get into it.
Okay, Brandon, the Old Country Gen 2 or G2. The owner himself said G2, so we can go with that. I love this thing. I've cooked on it 4 or 5 times now, and it's been a blast every time. I've cooked some beef ribs and a brisket, and then we did the rib comp on there, and everything that's come off, it's been awesome. So why don't you run us through all the specs on this thing?
Absolutely. So there's been a lot of buzz about this smoker on the internet, and a lot of what I've seen is it's just a newer, updated version of the Brazos. And I want to put that to bed real quick. This thing is its own animal. So the Brazos, the main differences is this has this big insulated firebox, which we'll get into more details about in a minute. But the main
There's
difference,
a fire in there.
a big one. The main difference is this big chamber, other than that firebox. The Brazos is slightly bigger. This guy's just a little bit smaller, but don't let that fool you. It's just as capable as the Brazos. Now over here, like I said, this insulated firebox, it has, what did Enrique say? 2 inches of mineral wool insulation in there. The inside of it is built out of 1/4 inch steel, and then there's a layer of 2-inch thick wool to insulate this firebox. And then the layer of steel on the outside is another 1/8 inch thick. Essentially, you're getting a 3/8 inch thick steel firebox.
With that mineral wool.
Yeah, with that mineral wool insulation. A lot of people, a popular modification they do to that Brazos is to stick fire bricks in the firebox to kind of pseudo-insulate it. You don't have to do that with this one. It keeps a ridiculously hot coal bed all on its own. Let's take a look inside this firebox real quick and show you what's in there. So over here we've got this real nice firebox. Now as you can see inside, we've got a fire going, but before we built this fire, it had a fire grate in it. These come standard with the fire grate on the inside. They're totally removable, so if, like us, you prefer to run your fire directly on the bottom of the firebox, you can totally pull that grate out and do just that. Now, the reason for the grate is if you leave it in there, your coals on the bottom of your fire have a direct stream of air up to the bottom of them, and some people really like that, but I find that on these smokers, I prefer to run the fire just on the bottom of the box. It works perfect. Just is what it is.
Create your coal bed and then use the logs to create your own airflow.
Exactly. So now looking at this side view of this firebox here, you can see just how thick this insulating layer is. So you've got your inner layer of steel that I touched on earlier, and then there's that insulation right in there, and then on this outer layer, that's the 1/8 inch thick steel I was talking about, essentially giving you a firebox that you can burn fires in that will last for a really long time, even if you leave this thing outside in the elements. Before we move on to the other parts of the grill, while we got this firebox open, we're gonna throw in another big log to keep this coal bed satisfied. One thing I forgot to mention before we move on about how this is a little bit different than the Brazos. On the Brazos, which if you're curious, we do have a full review of that on our channel as well, you can go check out. The door latch is a little bit different. How the door functions is just a little bit different, but the main difference on this side of the firebox is how the vent works. This has a sliding vent that you use this little handle to control here that controls how wide these openings are. The Brazos has more of a fan style vent, I would call it, I guess, that you rotate to control your airflow. Yeah, like a wheel. But that's one of the major differences and one of the benefits of this grill that I really like over the Brazos. The venting system is much easier to control. Let's take a look at the inside of this grill real quick while we're up here. Let's give this lid a lift.
Yo!
Sheesh.
Talk about that, man.
That's a dang heavy lid. Now, just like that firebox, the inside of that is constructed of 1/4 inch steel, and the outside is 1/8 inch steel, like I said. The entire rest of this grill is 1/4 inch thick steel, so that lid is heavy. Now, being made out of 1/4 inch thick steel, that makes this grill weigh, I think the website said 497 pounds. Like, that is where the value lies in this thing. These grills come in at under $2K. They're the best bang for your buck in the backyard offset market, nobody else is close
The
on
quality,
a grill this quality.
the quality offset market backyard.
Yeah, that one, not the Home Depot
Yeah.
cheapy ones. Okay, so the inside of this grill, the main features here is these cooking grates. There's a lower cooking grate and an upper cooking grate, just like the Brazos. The cooking chamber is just slightly smaller than the Brazos, though. This one comes in at just 900 square inches of cooking space. But on the inside here, you've got the main cooking grate, you've got this upper cooking grate. Both are removable for easy cleaning. Down underneath there, you've got the same baffle plate as the Brazos, but there's a trick here. This baffle plate is removable. Now before on the Brazos, people would cut these out with a grinder and remove them. Maybe the first thing they did with the grills, they would just take these things out. Old Country saw that and they decided that they still like the baffle plate, but they're gonna make it easier for you to take it out if you don't.
I like that it gives us options. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think you can use it in different ways to spread the heat across the smoker as you choose, rather than being forced to do one way or the other. Me and him, they're in right now. We just take it out.
The other part that Todd's touching on here is the tuning plate.
Yeah.
This one comes with a tuning plate. The Brazos did not. That's another thing that Old Country has stepped up and done to help you mitigate hot spots throughout the inside of your cooking chamber. Both of these things are designed to help you keep an even cook. So it's up to you, whatever combination you want to have them in or out, whatever you find makes the best results for you, you're totally free to do so.
It's cold.
Not over there.
I'm glad we got a fire.
All right, now we've moved ourselves over to this side of the grill. There's some more cool stuff to talk about over here. The Brazos, I keep bringing it up, but there's just nothing else to compare this thing to. The first thing I want to point out is we've thrown a River Country thermometer on here. These don't come standard. This was something we had laying around. We wanted to know what temperature it was in the grill. So a few weeks ago, how long we had this? 2 months ago, we threw this thing on here just to play around with it, and it's helped immensely. So if you get one of these, I recommend picking up a thermometer to put in here as well. But over here, the main difference from the Brazos on this side of the grill is this smokestack. Now the Brazos comes with a smokestack that's just, it's like a 6-inch pipe that comes down here that elbows straight into the side of the smoker, and it's only about this tall. As you can see, the Old Country G2 has a 33-inch stack on it. It's a little bit smaller in diameter, but don't let that get to you, that doesn't matter. It's fully removable, and that fully removable part is where you can see the next big difference. Like I said, the Brazos is just elbowed straight into the side of the cook chamber, where this G2 has a nice collector built on the end. And now what these collectors are supposed to do, I'm not sure if they're actually effective or not, is when you have an offset and you're running it, the smoke will build up right here at the end of the chamber, the smoke and the heat. So you'll get a big hot spot right in front of the stack. That's on a smoker like a Brazos or one of the cheaper Oklahoma Joes or something that you can get from Home Depot, because they don't have this extra space here at the end. This collector moves that hot spot from right here where your food is to right here underneath the stack. And so that's, in my eyes, a major improvement over the Brazos.
Yep.
The other thing this allows you to have is this full-on handle to move this thing around, where the Brazos just kind of had like a piece of 1/2-inch steel wire, essentially, just welded onto the side. It's a little bit weak. Mine got bent in shipping and it's still bent. But this is a major addition to this grill, this stack and this collector combo here. Also, as you can see up at the top of the stack here, you've got a fully adjustable damper. The Brazos has this same thing on its smokestack, but it doesn't have this super nice, heat protected handle to help you move this in and out easily. So that's another welcome addition.
Reminds me of the fireplace I had in my house growing up. I had stuff like that all over it.
Yeah.
Let's show them how easy it is to move it real quick.
Yeah, like I said, this grill is about 500 pounds. It's got a few pounds on its older cousin, the Brazos. That grill, it's semi-easy to move, but it doesn't have the front casters. It still has these nice wagon wheels, just like the G2 does here. So you get these nice wagon wheels, but you also get these front casters that turn as you move this grill. So like I said, it's about 500 pounds, but it's really not too terrible to move. You got to put your back into it. but it's doable. If you're rolling this thing around on concrete, no problem. If you got some gravel, but the wheels do help a ton, especially over its older cousin, the Brazos. All right, well, I've been blabbing a ton about this grill. Todd has prepared a rack of ribs to go on there. Let's slap these things in here and see how they come out.
Can't waste a good smoker being fired up, you know?
Never.
Guess what's on there, Brandon?
Salt and pepper and Lowry's.
Yeah, buddy.
Surefire way to win every time.
So, just like the Brazos, per Brandon. Brandon owns it. I've never really cooked on it, so I'm taking his word for it. It's the same legs, the same shelf down here that will hold your wood or charcoal or whatever. Mine usually holds nothing, and it just gets dirty. Whatever. We also have something nice over here. This is where the grease drips out.
So another popular modification for these smokers and the Brazos is people will go get an 1.5-inch ball valve just from Home Depot, whatever. They're like 20, 30 bucks. You just screw that on the end. The handle on the ball valve provides a nice place to hang a grease bucket, and then whenever you're ready to drain it, you just open that thing up, drain it right out.
Genius.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. I'm your uncle.
Yeah.
Listen, this is a fun smoker, you guys. There's a lot of awesome, popular offset smokers out there, but this is literally a third of the price or less, and you get the same quality. This is great. If you're looking to get into it, you've got a couple grand that you could afford to drop on an offset smoker. Like, don't even wait. Get this one. It's fantastic. Wealth of information here, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, thanks for paying attention to what Hey Grill Hey's doing. We love having you guys in our community. We love your comments. So please keep watching, keep cooking, become a backyard barbecue hero, like Susie always says, right, Brandon?
I think that's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys.